Johnny not married? He's not married. If you want things to get hot, he can make things get hot, if you know what I mean. What's up, comic book world? It's your boy, Super Duper Sean, and I'm back with another video. Today I got an article from Bleeding Cool on the upcoming, you guessed it, Fantastic Four movie. Now, instead of giving us some update or details on the movie, some unique changes was made to a certain character in the Fantastic Four. Yes, they swapped personalities. My man, Johnny Storm. I need your opinion on this, cause I think they just made my boy a simp. I think they just zapped my boy of all his swag, of all his fire, so to speak, and in their own words, modernized him. Whatever that means. We're going to get into this article from Bleeding Cool. Then I'm going to give my opinions at the end. Did they turn my boy Johnny into a simp? No, not Johnny. The Fantastic Four first steps. How this Johnny Storm is unique. The Fantastic Four step star Joseph Quinn explains how he and Kevin Feige tweaked the character of Johnny Storm for the modern age. Much like Spider-Man and the Hulk, when the Fantastic Four make their way to the big screen in July, this isn't the first time people have witnessed these characters being adapted. There were those who discovered these characters from the cartoon, as well as the people who were around during the original Fox days. It was only a matter of time before we got another live action version once the rights reverted back to Marvel. And the Fantastic Four first steps will be here in July. However, if you expect to see the same versions of the characters, that isn't the case. What do you mean that isn't the case? We are here to see the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four is the Fantastic Four, people. You know what I mean? There have been a few small adjustments to the character's personality, and Joseph Quinn explained to Entertainment Weekly how this version of Johnny Storm is going to be different from the others we have before. He's a man that leads with a lot of bravado, which can be an affront sometimes, but also he's funny, Quinn says. Myself and Marvel Studio boss Kevin Feige were speaking about previous iterations of him and where we are culturally. He was branded as this womanizing, devil-may-care guy. But is that sexy these days? I don't think so. This version of Johnny is less callous with other people's feelings, and hopefully there's a self-awareness about what's driving that attention-seeking behavior. There was also this weird thing where Johnny would sometimes be written as dumber because he was more carefree than the other members of the Fantastic Four. Anyone who is a jokester or attention-seeking must be lacking in intelligence. But director Mark Shakeman points out something incredibly obvious. Johnny is on the spaceship for a reason. He is really smart. Shakeman says he's on that spaceship for a reason. And I think sometimes people forget that in various comic stories. He's been one of the most heroic of them. Even if he's undercutting his heroism at every turn through humor. He's Sue's brother, which means they are cut from a similar cloth. There has already been some pushback to these quotes on social media. Because of course there is. Because why would we wait to see if an adaptation works to judge it? And instead stew in a self-induced hate spiral for months of our making. Marvel has not been knocking it out of the park lately. There is no denying there have been missteps, but saying that this version of Johnny Storm or the Fantastic Four first steps is going to be bad because they are going for a slightly different character angle because said characters were created in 1961 and might need some tweaking, let's calm down. Shout out to Caitlin Booth for writing the article on Bleeding Cool. Now, look, it sounds like they're already kind of trying to make us feel bad for feeling how we feel. With words like instead stew in a self-induced hate spiral for months of our making. Nah, bro. Nah, we just don't want you making Johnny a simp. We just don't want you taking the characters that we love and pushing your agenda with them and pushing your issues. Or maybe the person that you are living vicariously through this character on screen. That's what we don't want. That's what we don't want. Yes, this character was created in 1961, but there are later iterations of the character that works. And yo, it sounds like to me you guys are trying to make my guy a simp. That's what it seems like. Now, just because he's humorous and just because he might like the ladies a lot, that don't mean that he's a womanizer. I mean, I wouldn't consider Johnny a womanizer. I consider him a super confident young male. You know what I'm saying? And if you had powers like he could fly, could flame on and flame off, a part of a super group, young, handsome, you would be the same way. That's why his character to me always worked. Always worked. You need that bravado in the Fantastic Four, because where else are you going to get that? If you were going to tweak anybody, tweak Sue a little bit, because she kind of boring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Johnny is the live wire, and that's what we need. I bet Johnny reminds you of the people that you didn't like in high school. I bet he does. I bet he reminds you of a sibling that you could never catch up to. I bet he reminds you of a dude that you just hate on. You know what I mean? Because that's what it sounds like to me. I've never got the feeling of Johnny being overconfident. I never got that. You say he has a lot of bravado, like, oh, he deserves to be confident. He's the Human Torch. You have to be confident if you're in the Fantastic Four, if you're a superhero. Name me one superhero that has no confidence. He called Johnny a womanizer, devil-may-care guy. He's trying to take the stuff that we find cool and awesome about Johnny and dumb him down. Dumb him down. That's, yo, man. Fantastic Four, to me, already starting on a bad foot, because we do not want to see a mellow Johnny. At least I don't, man. Johnny not married? He's not married. If you want things to get hot, he can make things get hot, if you know what I mean. So funny that you chose the most relatable male character to tweak, right? You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody a super genius like Reed. Everybody ain't walking around depressed half the time like the Thing. There's all types of people that can feel like Johnny. That got that. That's just that natural swag that some of us males walk around with, you know? We get up, we feel good, we look good, we know we good. That doesn't make us reckless. That doesn't make us arrogant. You seem to take all the qualities about Johnny Storm and make them negative when they're not negative qualities at all. You said that he can be a front. Now, let me tell you guys what a front is. An action or a remark that causes outrage. So Spider-Man can be a front. I mean, with him and his quips, right? This is natural superhero talk. Any person, any superhero that loves to crack jokes could be a front. Why would that be something you would need to tweak? Don't tell me y'all trying to make Johnny Storm political. Cut the crap. Just say this is the character that we want to use and put all our views and politics in. We want to project our views and beliefs through this character. Just go ahead and say that, man. Don't try to dress everything up like, oh, we're changing this and we're changing that. Because we can see through the BS. We can see it a mile away. I'm your boy. What do y'all think about Johnny Storm, y'all? Do y'all think he needs to be tweaking? I think my boy's already fresh. I think he's the breath of fresh air in the Fantastic Four. And I honestly believe you can't have the Fantastic Four without the Human Torch. I believe the Human Torch has had his own run in the past. Has anybody else? Stop playing with me. I'm your boy, Super Duper Deuces.